Hello, good evening and welcome to UPfront. This is a very special edition because you heard not long ago the President deliver the State of the Nation's address. Just after that, you also heard the minority deliver what they consider to be the true State of the Nation address. Today, we'll interrogate that with the minority spokesperson on communications. When I return, I'll unveil him and we'll continue with that conversation. You're welcome. This is UPfront. My guest is the Honorable A.B.A. Fuseni. He's Sagnarigu MP, but also he is the spokesperson on communication for the minority in the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Honorable, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. And let me say good evening to all your viewers across the world and to your diligent and dedicated staff.
I hope you're doing well this day.
Under the regime of the elephant time.
Oh, that's interesting to know. And that's basically what the first year of the Akufo-Addo administration has been touted by himself as being somewhat successful. He, in the State of the Nation's address, in fact, in a very smart way, brought in ministers, their ministries, and the work that has been done in the various sectors, and put it all together. First and foremost, I mean, there's a statement from the minority already, but what do you think, in your own estimation of what happened during that particular event? How did it go for you?
You mean the first year of the State of Nation?
The State of the Nation's address itself.
Well, to be very honest with you, a lot of us were disappointed but not surprised. Not surprised because there's been very little. The MPP is, the government of President Nana Akufo-Addo is bereft of achievements.
Really?
Yes, and we'll get to that.
Yes.
So for 1 year, it was struggling to show. In fact, many people thought, if you read what is inside here, a lot of it is empty. It is an attempt to rehash old broken promises. The utopia, the plethora of empty promises that were made to the good people of this country in the run-up to the 2016 elections. And some of them, in the first State of the Nation address in 2017, they just went back and picked some of them, rehashed them, polished them, and brought them back.
We'll be going through these promises one by the other, but also as a sum, not the statement itself, some are complaining about the conduct of the minority, singing songs, having to go through some of you had, what they call it, band-aids on their lips, virtually sealing up their mouth in some other ways. I mean, heckling is allowed in Parliament, and some of these are pretty much ceremonial, but was it really justified?
You mean the
conduct
fact
of the
that
minority
sang? In
yes.
fact, we are all encouraged to sing the national anthem. Indeed, there's no provision in our laws or even in our own etiquette. Indeed, you should be even congratulated for singing the national anthem.
So that
Anybody
you pick out
who stands up to sing the national anthem tells you that he's very proud to be a Ghanaian.
and you see that you resist oppressors' rule,
Exactly.
help us resist oppressors' rule.
It's because there's some seeming oppression that is going on in the country.
You don't say oppression, you say seeming oppression.
Yes, when I say seeming oppression, it doesn't mean that there's no oppression.
It means that it looks like oppression.
It is. Walks like a duck, walks like a duck. It's a duck. And so it's oppression.
I'll demand proof of oppression from you.
Yes, and look, there's an attempt to suppress the minority from even speaking.
I'll come to that particular
Yes,
issue because it looks like this is not the first time you are complaining.
Yes, yes.
The first year of
no,
this
is not the
Parliament
first time.
Yes.
We've complained
Okay,
many
so
times.
If that's your example of oppression,
And my brother, even the oppression that we are talking about, this government has unleashed its pseudo-terrorist forces across the length and breadth of the country. Anybody who wants to criticize this government, they will set up on you. A number of journalists, including your journalists, have been beaten.
okay, so I'll come to that.
For trying to do their professional work.
But first and foremost,
Yes.
let's start with the parliamentary action currently happening. I've heard that you in the minority are unhappy with the conduct of the Speaker of Parliament. Exactly what has happened again?
My brother, this is not the first time. It is happening umpteen times.
What?
That the Speaker has not given due recognition to the minority. Look, it is a convention in the House. It's established practice that any time any of the people in leadership, the majority leader, the minority leader, is on his feet, Mr. Speaker will defer to him. Because this is the leadership of the House. Without the majority leader and the minority leader having control over their sides of the House, there will be anarchy in the House.
Did the Speaker breach any of your rules?
You see, the
Standing orders.
The Speaker is a father of the House. And as a father of the House, he has a bounden duty to be fair, to be decorous, to be candid with both sides of the House.
Take a step back.
Yes, we know. We know
what
that
really happened. Just explain to us what really happened.
You see, first and foremost, there was supposed to be a debate on the floor of the House today in respect of the review of the current Alvarorium we have on this special tax on
special petroleum tax, yeah.
And it was agreed that a number of people on both sides of the house will be allowed to speak. Look, this petroleum issue is one of the most important matters affecting the lives of Ghanaians today. I'm sure a few days ago, people were on the streets. Yeah. Thousands of Ghanaians.
No, not thousands.
My brother, thousands of Ghanaians.
No,
you can differ.
There's no evidence to suggest that.
You can differ.
Our cameras were there.
The most important is that Ghanaians were on the streets. My brother, Ghanaians were on the streets.
Honorable Fuseni, you cannot estimate that thousands of Ghanaians were on the streets.
The effect of a demonstration is not even about the numbers.
Yes,
the most important thing was that Ghanaians were on the streets protesting against unprecedented petroleum prices in the history of this country. Never in the annals of our history has petroleum cost this much. And indeed, Ghana is said to be the highest petroleum price nation, perhaps even in the world. Unless you can show me where it is higher.
Highest in the world.
Yes, very, very. Where petroleum prices are among the highest. And for the sub-region, it is undisputed.
It's not higher than that of the UK.
I'm saying that it's unprecedented because you are talking of foreign exchange differences. Otherwise, if you peg it price for price, we are among the highest in the world.
Forgive me.
And let me restrict myself even to the sub-region. Why should Ghana be the highest petroleum prices in the sub-region?
Honorable, I'll come back to you, but I need to take a quick break and come back to you after this one. We're still with the Honorable ABA Fuseni. He speaks on the minority on the issue of communication, and we're looking at varied issues on the state of Ghana today and the actions that's happening in Parliament where we started off. We'll be back to continue this conversation. You welcome back, and we continue our conversation with the Honorable ABA Fuseni on the actual state of the economy, with the minority term, the true state of the nation, which, of course, it was following on the heels of the President of the Nation's address he delivered. But we'll put that on the ice for a second and dealt with a very important matter. As an example of the oppression, he says what's happening currently in Parliament, where the minority are virtually up in arms against the Speaker of the Republic of Ghana, Professor Aaron Michael Quay, for denying the minority leader his right to speak on the floor of Parliament. Honorable, you're explaining to me exactly what premeditated this action.
Yes, I was putting it on record. That you see, first you have to chase away the hyena before you blame the goat. It is important to put it in the right context. This is not the first time the minority has had problems with the way Mr. Speaker has conducted affairs on the floor of the House. I can't count it. Many times where we have come to the inevitable conclusion that Mr. Speaker wants to gag the minority from speaking.
He is
today
a professor of political science.
Exactly, that is what even shocked us. Indeed,
he has for years fought for freedom.
When the Speaker was indicted into office, he gave all of us so much hope.
Assurances, yes.
Given what you have just, the pedigree of the Speaker. He taught me political science in 1982 in the University of Ghana. So I know where I know the stature the Speaker has, and nobody would for a moment underestimate the competence of the Speaker and the qualifications he has for that office.
So, but what did he do wrong this time?
Yes, but we're just saying that he has a certain disposition towards the minority. We all accept that the Speaker is a member of a political party, and that he has a duty somehow to protect the interests of his party. But once he sits in the chair as a Speaker, he's minded to be fair to both sides of the House. Is minded as a father of the House to endeavor to reach to both the majority and the minority and to accord fair opportunity for both sides of the House to be heard. The minority will always have his say, but the majority will have his way. So when attempts are being made to prevent, to muzzle the minority from speaking, and that is what has happened on a number of occasions. There have been occasions where the minority leader has been on his feet, and Mr. Speaker has failed to recognize him. I was just trying to tell you that the practice of the House, the conventions in the House, indicate that anytime any of the leadership in either in the majority or in the minority gets up on his feet, Mr. Speaker would immediately leave whatever is there and recognize whether it's the minority leader or the majority leader. Because these are the leaders of the House who keep the House in order, who are able to moderate, who are able to keep a tab on the House so that the House can run successfully. So anytime they're on their feet, Mr. Speaker would recognize them. It happened many times the minority leader was on his feet, he was not recognized. We have to make noise from the minority and to do certain things for Mr. Speaker to realize that he has to You have no alternative but to listen to the minority. So on this particular matter,
forgive me, before I come to it, you've used several expressions like so many times, anytime, and on so many occasions. How many times has this incident happened?
I've said umpteen times. I can't even count.
Really?
Those on our side will tell you many, many times. There have been times we have even staged walkout.
I've actually seen that before.
Yes, a number of times.
So what was the main cause of this?
So today, like I said, part of the agreement was that this issue of petroleum I was talking to you about, this special petroleum tax, which is an ad valorem, which is supposed to be transformed into a specific tax. You know, petroleum prices have very crucial effects on our economy. And given that we are paying unprecedented prices today, Ghanaians are suffering deep hardship today because of the petroleum prices. Petroleum prices that are going on the taxes. Yes, and 49% of them.
Your party, the NDC, introduced.
I'm saying that whether it's NDC which introduced them or not, I'm saying that the destiny of running the affairs of this country is in the hands of your government.
Okay.
They have come and they have made several changes in other areas. Why haven't they dropped some of the taxes? They told Ghanaians that
to be fair, they said they would do so. Yeah.
They said obnoxious taxes.
And they opposed it.
And they opposed it, and that they were going to drop them. We are into the second year. Indeed, they are even polishing up those obnoxious taxes. And it was one of the matters for which we had this problem today. That we're talking about this special petroleum tax. And my brother, one of the ways in which you can bring relief to Ghanaians is to reduce the level of taxation. 49% of the petroleum price build-up is made up of taxes. So if you can drop some of those taxes, you will bring a lot of relief to Ghanaians. And one of the things we're arguing about is this special petroleum tax, which was introduced for a specific reason when prices of petroleum prices were very low. To build up that buffer force, to use it to address petroleum.
Did they have sunset clauses?
Yes. So we're saying that those things have lived.
Did all of these?
They were. And we are saying that
all of them.
Yes.
Did all of the energy sector levies have sunset clauses?
I'm telling you that most of them had. And to the effect that this particular one that we are talking about has served its purpose. And so it is for government to completely drop that tax. So we're saying that we should take off that tax. And for that one alone, we could have had over 2 Ghana cedis
reduction
reflect in the price, and that one will be meaningful.
So are you talking about per liter or
no, per gallon?
Per gallon.
I'm talking of per gallon.
Oh,
it's about 50. What is that, man? It's about 53 cedis per liter. So if you multiply by 4.5, you will get even over 2 Ghana cedis. So it will be even over 2 Ghana cedis. Okay. So our argument was that drop the entire tax.
Okay.
And in the run up to that, both sides, leadership of both sides agreed that a number of members from both sides will contribute to the debate. And Mr. Speaker, at the time he took his oath, a promise assured the House that he was one person who was going to allow vigorous debate to flow on the floor of the House. So, he's come, and Mr. Speaker's ruling was that only one from each side should speak. And we said, no, Mr. Speaker, this is a matter that affects millions. In fact, the good people of this country are looking forward to Parliament to do something about this taxation so that it can bring relief to our people. Just one member from each side cannot discuss this issue. If Parliament, which is the forum for the ventilation of the grievances of the people, cannot discuss this issue extensively, at which forum can we discuss it?
Honorable.
So we disagreed. And Mr. Speaker,
what was the proposal of government before the Parliament on this particular tax? Reduction?
Yes, in fact, and it was a reduction, and a very pitiful reduction.
How much was it?
They were just going to reduce 7 pesos per liter.
Okay.
So 7 pesos per liter, you multiply that one by 4.5. We are going to get 33 cedis, 33 pesos to a gallon. This was like a pinprick on the back of an elephant. My brother,
what was that?
If you have eaten the whole cow, you are not satisfied, the intestines can do you anything. 33 pesos per gallon.
I see.
This was an insult to the good people of this country. All these people were out of the streets.
So the minority
calling for reduction in fuel prices. And then the reduction when they go to the pump is 33 pesos. A taxi driver who goes to buy fuel, normally they buy 1 gallon, 2 gallons. A taxi driver buys 1 gallon, and what he gets is 33 pesos. It's an insult. And as we say, even now there is going to be a specific tax instead of an ad valorem. I'm telling you, when they still go up, they will still reflect at increases in the pump.
Okay, so now I want us to go back to the point where the minority that got up.
Yes, so the minority that got up,
yes,
first, it was not recognized.
Contrary to the arrangement that first, you said there was an arrangement, there was a
yes, I'm just saying that it's a convention of the House.
That they agreed, the number of people who speak on both sides.
Yes, so Mr. Speaker torpedoed that agreement. Okay?
Is the Speaker's ruling superior to the agreement?
No, the Speaker normally relies on the leadership of the House to run the House. So sometimes it is not about his personal whims and caprices. He listens to the leadership.
Okay.
So the majority leader, he will ask the majority leader will say, Mr. Speaker, we have agreed that we'll do this. Minority leader, is that the case? Yes. Okay, let's go. That is how the House is run. And so in most cases, when both the leadership of the House, the minority and the majority have agreed, Mr. Speaker will not ideally torpedo that agreement. Because that is what the leadership of the House wants to. And the leadership is made up of both the majority and the minority.
I get your point.
So that was where it started. And now it went on to other procedural issues. And to the issues where some fundamental errors were being made. And the minority that was on his feet.
So,
to point to these issues.
So were representatives each from each side spoke on the matter?
Yes, I'm saying that only one person spoke from the backbench. Only one. Contrary to the earlier agreement that we were to have a number of them speak.
Okay, so...
And then from there, he went straight to leadership. So the backbench and the other members of the leadership did not have the opportunity to discuss this issue. And we are worried because Parliament is the forum for the ventilation of the grievances of the
So the minority leader stood on his feet for 7 minutes?
The minority leader was on his feet for a long time.
And the Speaker failed to recognize
he was not recognized, and even when he was, the argument was truncated. And so that's why we're saying that...
Was he finally recognized?
There is disrespect for the minority leader. When you disrespect the minority leader, you are disrespecting the minority.
Honorable, what exactly is the claim of the minority in this case? That he was allowed to be on his feet for a very long time, or that he actually was on his feet for some time but given the opportunity to talk, or his period of speaking was truncated? Which one is the argument?
All of them. Like I said, in the first case, he was on his feet for a long time.
Okay.
And like I said, sometimes it took even the promptings of the minority through some heckling and some other decisions for him to recognize that he has to be allowed to speak. Okay? And when indeed he was allowed to speak, his speech was truncated.
Which...
you see, somebody gets up on the point of order. If Mr. Speaker thinks that the point that the minority leader is making and must be allowed to finish, you allow him. But he allowed him to be truncated.
Oh, so you don't think that point of orders are agency?
Point of orders are, look, we were in the House. When the other side was speaking, no, people were up. Mr. Speaker did not recognize them. When it is time for the minority leader, somebody who wants to truncate him is recognized.
But the general parliamentary principle, I must catch the eye of the Speaker.
My brother, yes. But I'm just telling you that you can even greet somebody good morning and you will get angry because of the mode in which you greet him. You understand me?
I get you.
Yes. So when you hear a chief warrior fleeing from when you see a chief warrior fleeing from the battlefield, it tells you that the recruits have been massacred. It tells you that something bad had already happened in the past, which has served as a precedent which is being relied upon today.
Okay, so the minority is already furious.
That is why the minority is not just coming from today. I told you it's a long history.
Okay, I get you.
That it has happened again today. Best eloquent testimony to the minority's frustration that this is what Mr. Speaker is doing.
So what was the final conclusion to this matter?
Eventually, the point that the minority leader was seeking to make was lost.
He couldn't get a chance to do it.
Was lost. And that is our fundamental concern, that the minority is gagged and prevented from making its point anytime it gets up to do so.
So what did the minority do after this particular action?
The minority leader, I'm sure your people would have told you that, your reporters would have told you that the minority leader was very, very angry about what happened. Indeed, he had to address Mr. Speaker like he's not ever done before. The minority leader is somebody who is very cool, composed, very respectful and disciplined. But he had to tell Mr. Speaker, if this and this and this continue, I will have no recourse but to show disrespect to you.
Oh,
I'm sure that the minority leader was pushed to the very limits.
Is that in tune with the standing orders?
I'm telling you, the standing orders doesn't prevent any member from expressing his will. And that is why we are appealing to Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker is not a monarch. The position that he's taking is not a hereditary system. He didn't inherit it from his father or from any other body. He is an elected democratic leader of the House. And so he must not behave like a monarch.
I can't remove him really. You know that your
I am saying that if it's the will of the House, even to talk of even impeaching the Speaker is a very serious offense. Even if you don't succeed, it will be an indictment. And given where he's coming from, we have said that we have a lot of respect for him. He should tamper. When you don't know the depth of water, you don't take a plunge. You take a weight.
Okay, now let me understand this. Did the Speaker breach any of the rules of Parliament?
I said that
in the standing orders.
Mr. Speaker has a duty to be fair. He has a duty to be seen as a father of the House who will be very open and I'm not using the word magnanimous because he doesn't have to be magnanimous. He just has to be fair to all sides of the House.
This paternal role you give the Speaker, in which of the standing orders is it? That he should be of father.
Oh, the Speaker, all of us call him the father of the House.
Okay.
Because he's the one who presides over the cities of the House. So it is just a ceremonial title that we ought to see him as.
So the Speaker breached no law.
My brother, sometimes you may not
Speaker breached no parliamentary procedure.
Look, even the Constitution of this republic.
The Speaker breached no standing order.
The Constitution of this republic says that even when you are exercising discretionary authority,
you have a duty to be fair, and reasonable.
The rest of it, you can mention them. It is in the Constitution of this republic.
So
if it's not fair, he's breaching the Constitution. You know, you just even mentioned some of the attributes that come with that Constitution.
296 says should be fair,
candid, exactly, and reasonable. 296.
Yes, it should not be.
So you have a duty to be fair, candid, and to afford equal opportunity to both sides of the House. And this was Mr. Speaker at his induction ceremony promised all of us that he was one person who was going to allow vigorous debate to flow on the floor of the House.
Beyond the
so
threat,
I don't want us to belabor that other than what we want to talk
about.
about.
Beyond the threat, what can the minority really do?
Oh, I think the minority has and look, if the House is ungovernable, Mr. Speaker can, if we decide to come to the floor, all of us, and make noise for the rest of the day.
You can be removed.
No business.
Make noise for the rest.
You can't remove the entire minority.
Why not?
How are you going to remove the entire minority?
If they are all being chaotic, why not?
How will you remove us? Tell me how they will remove us.
Really, it is being done in under
Then you bring police and evacuate all the members. You can't.
Why not?
We will not be evacuated.
But
you can evacuate 1 or 2 members. You can't evacuate the entire minority. You lie bad. You can't. I tell you that you can't. Let anybody try it.
Okay, now
you can't.
We'll be moving away from this particular matter.
Yes.
Except to say that when all of this happens in Thai's part, is there no leadership meeting to resolve it? It's not how you guys do it.
Even let me say this for the majority leader. Even the majority leader recognized, even against what the Speaker was doing, the majority leader tried to say, look, his counterpart on the minority side had something to say. And in all this, we should encourage him to say what he has to say. Even the majority leader, let me say that for him. He tried to stand up for his colleague minority leader.
Okay. Now, well, we'll see how this rolls out. Exactly. All of these issues.
So it's just because we are saying that sometimes the Speaker is too partisan. He's biased. And his bias is showing too clearly. I'm sure that he should be able to tamper the this and that. He has notwithstanding the fact that...
These not isolated issues, really.
They have happened all the time. I just told you
this
is a long history.
This Speaker allowed bipartisan committees and parliamentary probe into some important issues too. Even on your own parliamentary issues.
My brother, in those particular... no choice. The fact that the petition, the Constitution stipulates that if we gather a number of petitions, the Speaker has no choice but to look at the House. So it was the minority that gathered the necessary and requisite number of legislators and got the House reconvened. It was not at his discretion. So he has no discretion in the matter.
You are saying that he's utterly biased. I'm
saying that he's biased, and he showed a lot of the bias in most of this. That is creating this problem. So we are urging him that we know he is a representative of a political party. He was brought in by a political party, and no doubt he will do the will of the political party. But at least there must be some semblance of fairness.
Okay.
That is what we are calling for.
Oh, no, but I want us to move to the other issues you're supposed to discuss today.
Yes.
Now, the President delivered the State of the Nation's address. The minority countered that.
Yes.
On the economy, for instance, the minority sought to explain the reasons why there's some improvement in the economy by what could have been the investments made by the John Dramani Mahama administration. And seek to say, for example, that the IMF predicted that there will be a boom in 2017. We are going to go between 7 to 9% of growth rate. And so when you tout this as your achievement, it's not really the best. When you say this, some will then ask, why didn't it happen during your time?
Yeah, let me say without any idea of it, that when you see a man beating his chest and proclaiming his merit, he has no drum to beat. It's a man who has no drum to beat, who beats his chest. So when the president came beating his chest in triumph, he had no achievements.
The president listed achievements.
I'm telling you. We'll interrogate them.
He talked about inflation reduction.
My brother, look.
Inflation reduction.
My brother.
Interest rate reduction.
My brother, I'm just going to give you, look, list of prices of items. Go onto the market and talk to the ordinary man.
Which market was this particular price list put out from?
My brother, I have no doubt in my mind, you and all of us in the studios here, we are all suffering. We are suffering unprecedented hardship.
Really?
Yes. Look, on the day the president was making the decision, the streets were full with Ghanaians protesting against not just fuel prices, high cost of living. Look, items were buying. Look, this is
Honorable.
I have a list of items here.
Yes.
If you see that, some of them have almost doubled.
Is it the same thing the minority?
At the time when you are talking about that you had managed inflation.
Yes.
And prices are almost doubling.
Honorable, but inflation is not to say that there's no increase in price.
No, inflation
it's
says
the
that
rate of increase.
Inflation says that
yes.
the rate of increase is dropping.
Yes.
But I'm saying that at the time that they say the rate of increase is dropping, we're having the prices doubling. It cannot be by no set of logic.
Products that you say you have actually
I will give you this, and when I'm leaving here, I will give you a copy.
I just want to know whether it's the same thing that the minority that talked about.
Yes.
Then we have a copy of it.
Yes, and I'm telling you, go to the market and see whether these prices are selling.
What specific markets are these prices supposed to come from?
Any Malata market, Makwala, go to Abogloshi. Go to any market. If you can Kokompe, go to any market.
But the price of all the markets.
Even there's a market springing up behind the president's house. Go behind there and see that to the not far from his house. There are some people selling items there.
House?
No, his house. I'm talking of his private house.
The one at Nima?
Yes.
Okay.
Not far from there. Go to that market and ask for the prices. It may even now have worsened. Since every day the cost of living is going up.
When was this compilation done?
Yes. So I'm just telling you that when you talked about the issues on which the minority said that the IMF and others have projected there, just tell me, the biggest part of the growth that this government is touting is going to be on the back of oil. It's an oil-led growth.
Yes.
The industrial growth they are projecting at 9 point some. The total growth, about 6% of it, almost about 6% of it, will be on the back of oil.
But to be fair,
and if you are talking about the back of oil, what has this government done?
Honorable,
I am telling you, with the notable exception of the meeting they just had with ExxonMobil, which they are doing now, they have not done 1 cent of transactions in that. All those things were done under the government of President John Dramani Mahama. All the work to do in the tin and Shira and Yira and all those other oil fields. They were done by the NDC government. If you are talking about the requisite legislation, you are talking about the logistics, the building of the FPSOs. We are talking about the taking of the decisions to ensure that financial resources were made available. All those things were done under President John Dramani Mahama.
There's no oil field called Inshira.
No, I'm saying that the 10 oil fields.
Okay.
I didn't tell you that the 10. I was just giving a breakdown of what the 10 means.
Because I was confused when you mentioned that.
I was talking about the 10. I wanted to give you specific names of the 10.
Okay. All right.
They call them 10 because that is the easiest way.
It's putting together the three.
There are other oil fields that have been developed. So all these things that have come on shore, what work did the MPP do? They just inherited those projects. And so that is why the IMF and all those things said that on the back of that
there's a decrease also in inflation. You don't try the statistical service any longer.
My brother, I'm just telling you here. Look, I told you that.
But this is clearly misleading. Look, having to just pick goose on the
brother,
market.
Even the president now is learning fast that he must be very, very wary of the figures his officials give him. You see that when he came to the state of the day, he ran away from some of the figures his ministers gave him, including the army WEM figures the Agric minister gave for jobs that he has created, 745,000 jobs.
The Agric minister did not give army WEM.
Army WEM. There are army WEM figures.
How can that be?
I'm he was counting army WEMs. 745,000 jobs in this economy. It's a joke.
It has been explained. Do you have a different?
My brother, you give fertilizer. One fertilizer you give to people, they create 2 jobs. It's farcical. It's laughable. This is one of the most glaring incompetence I've ever heard.
You have not checked in any way.
That on the basis of fertilizer that you issue. Look, I was talking to a colleague, member of parliament. They said they came to his farm. After giving some few bags of fertilizer, they counted the workers. I said, these are new workers' jobs they have created. Workers who have been with him for the past 10 years.
Which colleague is this?
He's a colleague member of the House.
Which colleague is this?
You want me to give you his name?
I want to verify this information.
Go and talk to Honorable Sami.
Sami what?
Sami Mills. Sami Atta Mills.
And his farm is where?
Go and talk to him. If you wanted the person, I've given you his names. Go and talk to him.
Okay, all right.
So I'm just telling you that this government, look, they are penchant for peddling dubious figures. It's not in doubt.
We'll come to jobs.
Yes. So I'm just telling you that
on the economy, you are not only doubting what the statistical service have put out because the government doesn't put out what they call it, inflation figures.
I'm just telling you
yes,
that the inflation figures have no semblance of bearing with what is happening on the ground. And I'm happy.
Okay.
Not mean a president.
About
let me tell you that the president of the republic himself,
okay,
you know, in statement that he made, seems to indicate that look, even figures don't match what is the reality on the ground. Listen to the president. I know, and this is on page 4 of the State of the Nation address. I know that when it comes to the economy, many of us have very low tolerance for what we consider as boring figures. These are I'm reading the president, and we do not see that they affect the reality of our everyday lives. This is the president, oh. This is not a statement from the minority leader or anybody in opposition.
And you interpret that to
this
be
is the
that
president who says that not only are the figures boring, they don't reflect in the everyday lives of the people. They are meaningless. And that is why I told you that they will give you that inflation is falling when prices are doubling. It's only in Ghana that you have inflation said to be falling and prices are doubling. It's incredible. What is the correlation between a falling inflation and prices doubling on the market?
You cannot mislead the people to think that when you have a price of a product that may or may not be captured, what they call it, in the basket for determination of inflation.
So we're talking about basic staples, maize, beans, rice, cassava. Those are basic items that are captured in the basket.
See, I let this go first, but let me probe this. When was this calculation done?
Which one?
The one that you have before you.
Oh, these are just
no, date. I want specific dates.
Which dates are you talking about?
When did you go to the market?
I'm saying that these are just within the last few weeks.
Which week specifically?
About 2 weeks ago.
Which day?
And I'm even afraid that by the time you go, even these prices will further escalate.
Specifically, I want which day?
Master, I cannot give you. I'm just giving you about 2 weeks. I think
because anybody can put this list together, actually.
And I'm saying that go verify. That is why we are journalists. When I was in the media, anytime I got this challenge, I would go and do investigations.
Because, I mean...
and that is why I ever want the best investigative journalists in Ghana. Because I would do investigations.
I get your point.
So it's a task.
My only difficulty is that you do not, I mean, in all fairness, have to do the same politicking of doubting statistical figures from the statistical service and later on come and use them. This government and operatives of this government did the same thing, and your government, then in government, was actually worried about this.
Do they have confidence in the statistical service?
Yes, they do.
They do.
Yes.
After disparaging the same statistical service.
But it looks like you don't have confidence.
I'm saying that I'm just pointing to the reality. I'm pointing to the president himself, in his State of the Nation address, told Ghanaians that not only are these figures boring, but that they don't reflect the reality of the life for Ghanaians.
You don't believe that interest rates also on the decline?
Master,
you don't believe it?
This statement that I just read to you, I can give it to you to look at.
I've read it. I've read it.
You thought that I concocted it.
No,
this is from the president.
Sorry,
the president himself doesn't believe the figures.
I get you, but you don't believe that.
So if the president himself doesn't believe the figures, the president who came and made the statement himself, he doesn't believe the figures.
Of what is in there. You know that.
It's the president doesn't believe the figures.
It's not the same.
He says that not only are they boring, but that those figures don't reflect in the life of Ghanaians. He said it. I'm not the one who said it.
Do not reflect or may not.
He said they do not reflect. He didn't say may not. He said they do not. It's here. You can go and read it. I gave it to you, page 4. It's here. You can go and read it.
Okay, so
it's the president who said it.
Okay, no. My point with you is that so you don't trust the interest rate figures too.
Which interest rates?
Interest rates are on the decline.
They say interest rates. Go today, my brother. You go to the bank that you want to borrow money. And see,
you know the factors for determining my interest.
They don't reflect. That is the exact point. Really? It's not about churning out fine figures.
But ARIs
it's the extent to which those look the sweetness of the pudding, my brother. It's not the aroma it emits. It's the actual eating. Don't be misled by the aroma. Eat it. After you've eaten it, you'll be satisfied whether it is palatable or not. So you can churn out fantastic figures which look neat.
Taxes were reduced.
Go on the ground and
do you
find
contest that too? Taxes were reduced.
Which taxes? Today, Association of Ashanti Businesses. Go and tell them that story. Their businesses are collapsing.
Like that?
A group, they came out.
Really?
It was also the first time I heard of them, and they say their businesses are collapsing. The 3% extra VAT that the government imposed.
Extra VAT?
Yes, the 3% flat VAT rate.
Okay, yes, flat rate.
Yes,
but when you say extra
that
VAT,
flat rate, it is being triplicated and sometimes quadrupled. And people are paying even more than they were paid even the same. So even some people said that the government should have left the 17.5% for them. It would have been better. That this particular tax is worse. Go and talk to business people.
Government did not reduce that tax.
Go and talk to Abosokai. The government used them for their campaign. The MPP used them for their campaign in 2016.
Imports.
And promised them that they were going to make life bearable to them. A lot of their businesses are collapsing.
Import duties on these
you go to the import duties. Number one, they are facing excruciating foreign exchange depreciation.
Yes, but that's
it was Dr. Bawuya, the chairman of the economic management team, who told Ghanaians that he had arrested the CD.
Do you doubt that?
Locked it up and given the key to the IGP. Even before he left the police station, the inflation was running ahead of him. Today, inflation is falling freely like a coconut liberated from a tree. Today, go and talk to the businessmen. They will tell you that their businesses have been ruined.
Because there's no basis for this. You're
foreign exchange, my brother.
Oh, you're talking about exchange rates.
From here, I'm talking of the
exchange. Okay, not inflation.
I'm talking of exchange rate.
Okay, yes, I can agree with you, not for, because there's
I'm talking about exchange rate.
relative.
That's why I said that Dr. Buren said that he had stabilized the city.
There's relative stability on the level of the dollar. Look, we can't say same.
My brother.
We can't say
when
same.
You talk about, number one, when you talk about exchange rate, you are talking about all foreign currencies.
Yes,
okay?
We can't say same for the euro.
And I'm even telling you that
pounds.
the dollar is not stable. When the NDC was handing over power,
the expression was relative
what was the rate
stability.
of the CD to the dollar?
The expression is relative stability.
My brother, what is called relative? There's no relative stability. It is depreciating every day. How can there be stability? There's no stability. It's either stable or it's not stable. Don't let us use semantics. Relative stability. What is called relative stability? When the thing is dropping.
And you question that evidence comes from the Bank of Ghana. Are you still questioning that?
That what?
Have you seen because the minority is also quoted from the same document, have you seen the generally released summary of macroeconomic and financial data? Have you seen that?
Do you know, for instance, that
have you seen the document?
I'm answering your question. Do you know, and I just want to...
Let's start with a yes or no. Have you seen the document?
Saying what?
The summary of macroeconomic and financial data from the Bank of Ghana.
That the economy is so sound that Ghanaians are living a better life. Is that what it says?
Have you seen the document?
No, I'm saying that at the end of the day, I'm not interested in this semantics. I am saying that to what extent do they reflect in the everyday lives of the Ghanaian?
Honorable.
If you are an importer and somebody tells you that the foreign exchange regime is stable, and you go and you are looking for foreign exchange to go and import goods, and you go and the foreign exchange is escalating, would you believe what they are telling you? So they can paint all the niceties in the textbooks. Ghanaians are living excruciatingly hard lives. It has nothing to do. And I'm happy that the president himself said that all these nice body statistics that we are putting up there don't reflect in the lives of the people.
Honorable,
that is what the president said.
The year-to-date depreciation of the US dollar, according to the Bank of Ghana, in page 4 of the summary of macroeconomic financial data, in December 2016, it was negative 9.7. In December 2017, it was negative 4.7. At least because it's a year-to-year thing, I just wanted to keep it at that point.
Brother,
are you questioning that?
I am just telling you that. Have you gone to the Forex Bureau to buy dollar? For all the point that you're putting these negative figures, when you go, the dollar was rising at the Forex Bureau. That is where many Ghanaians get their foreign exchange. They don't get it at the Bank of Ghana. So let us not be deceived by these kinds of things that they put out. Look, the Bank of Ghana, as we are waiting for end of year 2017, debt to GDP. They put out a decision that debt to GDP was 68%. It's not correct. When the government even more than borrowed in the last 2 months, November, December, yet they are putting up that the total indebtedness was, when you had moved from 122 billion to 139. When we know that it is not true, that it has even gone beyond 150 billion. We know that.
What's the source of this your 150 billion?
Oh, my brother, the government has done some borrowings.
Sorry, I'm asking what's the source of the data.
I'm saying that we have kept track of the
you actually did your
including
own,
the failed bond, the energy bond
calculations.
Yes, including the failed bond. And the minority has kept a very conscious
calculation that I cannot independently verify.
Fine. I'm saying that
calculation that I have not seen.
We climb a tree to see that which is going. After that which is coming, remain where you are. It will meet you. We will get it.
Okay.
The government can try through the bank. You know, that is why they were uncomfortable with some Dr. Isiama and other people being at the Bank of Ghana. Because they know that the true figures will come out.
So Dr. Isiama
So the independence of the Bank of Ghana, they are trying to compromise the independence of the Bank of Ghana.
So Dr. Isiama was the independent person at the
He
Bank
was
of Ghana.
forced out. You see that they used all sorts of dirty tricks to force him out of the Bank of Ghana.
Yes, Dr. Baume was forced out of the Bank of Ghana. We know that. So it's not a big deal. What's the big deal in this case?
I am saying that Dr. Nashiru, who was the Bank of Ghana, was forced out. Dr. Isiama was forced out.
It will not be the first time this has happened.
So why would you force them out? You talked about positive change. That you were coming to make sure that things that had happened that were not in sync with our good governance ideal will never be repeated. You come and you are doing worse, unprecedented in the annals of our country.
The government hopes to, among other things, recruit 100,000 people for the National Builders Corps. This particular institution is supposed to make sure we fill in the gaps in the public sector and also other places that government needs people to work. These are graduates predominantly. That should be good news for you to understand that job creation is on the right level.
See, this government, they have a penchant for signaling right and turning left.
What does that mean?
They are not honest with the good people of this country.
How is that explicitly
detailed?
They
have a huge penchant for deceit. They rode on the back of lies, propaganda, and deceit to power.
How is that connected to the job creation?
Yes, that job creation. Ask me. We are in February. What preparation has government made for the takeoff of that project? What are the funding levels?
But in the
What
budget.
is the policy?
But
it's not enough for them to be in the
National
budget.
Builders
Look,
Corps
let me tell you.
allocation.
The government promised us 1 district, 1 factory in 2017.
Yeah.
It was in the budget. The president went ahead and told us that by the end of 2017, there were going to be 51 of such 1 district, 1 factory across the country.
Yes.
We are in 2018. Not a single one has been built.
Said actual
Not
implementation
one.
may start this year.
In fact, when the president went and commissioned with pump and pageantry, if you go there, antelopes and rabbits, they are having a jamboree there. So much a forest reserve. Nothing is happening. Not 1 district, one in any, not 1 factory in any district has been built.
Right?
They promised us in the northern part, and I'm from the north. I was excited that they are going to give us every village in the north. 1 village will get 1 dam. 2017, an amount of 400 million and other was budgeted. To date, as we speak, not even a single dugout. Not one dugout. I'm not talking of a dam. I'm talking of even a dugout has been constructed. So you see, this government, they have a penchant for promising. And I'm saying that, look, that's why many people say this was not a State of the Nation address. It was a rehash of empty, utopian, broken promises that the president had presented. And he was just simply picking some of them and rehashing them. A government that has been in power for more than 1 year, still coming and behaving as if it's on the campaign trail, making more promises.
I just can't get
You
why.
should have come to tell us that this is what you are doing, this is what you have done.
Okay, so honorable, yes.
They're telling us, making more promises.
Let's go at my pace. I'm asking about jobs.
Yes,
Not
and I was just telling
promises
you,
in other areas.
the government told us that jobs
Is it
was
a-
the number 1 priority.
Yes, but it's not their priority.
My brother, you were at the press conference at the Flagstaff House.
Meet the press.
Meet the press with the president. You were there when the question was asked of the president, Mr. President, how many jobs has your government created?
He said
What
we're
was his
putting
answer?
the figures together.
Are you telling me that the president is not on top of his job? You are organizing a major press conference where your number 1 priority, jobs, is so crucial that you know that it's a matter that will feature at the press conference. You don't even get your Minister for Employment to give you figures.
When the LDC left office in 2016.
My brother, don't bring the NDC. The NDC is not in power. The MPP, for a variety of reasons, Ghanaians said the MPP, NDC, for a variety of reasons, should be changed. They changed the NDC. They have given the mantle to you. Don't make references to the... and in any case,
I'm saying that
it's Nana Akufo-Addo himself who said it.
There has always been problems with government giving a specific number of jobs they've created.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
I never heard President Mahama state categorically how many jobs he has created with his entire 4 years in office. I never heard President
NDC from time to
even when the Honorable Minister E.T. Mensah came to Parliament in 2011,
the NDC,
he did not specifically
the
state that
NDC
this
from
is the
time
amount
to
of
time,
jobs.
we gave figures. And in fact, it was disputed by the then minority. They said they didn't believe the figures that were given. From time to time, figures were given.
No, see.
About job creation. And my brother,
yes,
the NDC job creation can be verified from the MPP. Look, ever since the MPP came, tell me, for all the monies that they've talked about, what concrete projects and programs have you seen? So far, they have not delivered anything, any concrete program that you can look at and concretely say, in the 1 year, this is what MPP has built. But President Mahama's government, never in the annals of our history, maybe with the notable exception of the government of the founder of this nation, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, has any government undertaken such aggressive infrastructure development?
in 4 years.
Yes, like President
Not
Mahama
in the
did.
first year.
You are talking of hospitals,
In
schools,
4 years, not in
clinics.
the first year.
Yes, I'm just telling you
So
that.
have you compared the 4 years of
please, it did
government-
not start in 4. It did not start at the end of the 4th year. It started from the word go.
So the government has not started any
So
projects.
I'm just show me which project this government has done. Show me. If you can point to me, show me.
No, but
Which projects have they? Nothing. For all the monies that they have spent, they can't point to a single thing that they've done.
okay,
They cannot.
I get you.
You see, the only notable areas have been conceded.
What?
I said the only notable area that can concede, which has been even badly bungled, is the first year free senior high school system, which has even been bungled in such a manner that it has lost its credit.
Really?
Yes, because why? 80%, number one, the government promised the good people of this country that, especially parents who were going to vote in 2016, that when the MPP comes, none of them will pay fees at the senior high school. Is that not correct? The government comes and what do? They only do selective first year. So those parents who voted for the MPP in the belief that there are ones who are going to second year and third year, they will not pay fees. They have been hoodwinked, they have been cajoled, they have been fooled, matriculated by the MPP to vote for them. That was what they did to them. And when they even did that, headmasters and others who started complaining, they instilled the fear of God into them. My colleague member of Parliament, Matthew Opoku Prempe, They told them any headmaster who is intrepid enough to open his mouth, you will go home and taste the fruits of your impudence.
You should get the impression that
they have petrified a lot of the children. 80%, they paid only 20% in the first term. Up to now,
I don't understand
those monies are owed.
No, sorry. You should know the system and how it works better.
My brother,
from your experience,
we cannot get that excuse coming from a government. Look,
yes, I'm hearing you.
Dr. Bawumia told all of us in this country that this country is awash with money.
Doc, is there a single... Sorry,
my brother, I'm coming.
Is there a single school that is demanding for money that has not been paid?
My brother, all the headmasters in all Sinatra.
When did they make the demand?
I went to my senior high school where I went, Yendi Secondary School, when I went to the north.
And the headmaster complained.
My brother, I nearly wept. If I say they will sack the headmaster didn't tell me. I went and made my observations. Look, I went to the dining hall. My brother, I nearly wept. They were giving the students one ladle of rice. And I'm telling you, if you have time, you can even count the grains on that ladle. One ladle for students. Very, very pathetic. Today, many parents have to send food to their children in schools. Look at the poor condition. Dormitory, dining hall, and the trees. You can't even mention the rest.
So, in which school? I want to specifically
Within senior high.
Oh, but that was last year.
My brother, I'm coming from Tamale. Nothing has changed there. I am telling you. I'm coming from there. What infrastructure? They have taken all the money from Get Fund. You know this government, with its indiscriminate capping of statutory funds, they took more than about nearly 40% of the monies of Get Fund. So today Get Fund cannot do anything. Get Fund, who used to build infrastructure in second cycle and tertiary institutions, today they are handicapped. That is why even the contractors, the monies that are owing, they can't pay. Because government has taken all the money to the Flagstaff House for the president and his people to chop.
Again, not all the money has been taken to the Flagstaff House.
Let me
and
tell
you know that.
I'm a legislator and I know. Look, in this
year's budget, but there is no way
1.9 billion Ghana cedis was allocated to the office of the president.
Is it 1.9 or 1.5?
1.9 billion. 1.9. 1.5 is last year.
Hold on.
1.57 was last year.
Yes.
I have the figures off my head. 1.57 was given to the presidency last year. This one, it was to 1.9 billion Ghana cedis at the presidency.
And
this is profligate.
You have the opinion that that money is supposed to be for education when the education budget has already been sealed?
My brother, that's what I'm saying. That, and they want those resources to go and ameliorate the plight and the suffering of our children and was in senior high schools. Get Fund needs that money to go and put up infrastructure. And you are loading off those. Look, if you add all those other ministries,
you are creating the impression that Get Fund has no allocation.
I'm saying that it's pottery.
Specific allocation.
I say it's pottery. They have taken off. They've capped. Oh,
and what's the evidence for
you know that the finance minister has capped the statutory funds?
Yes, I know.
They've capped the Get Fund. They've capped the District Assembly Common Fund. They've capped the National Health Insurance Levy.
That happened even in 2017.
Yes. So I'm telling you that they're
why I'm saying that it is this particular time that the money
are even capping the road fund. The road minister, who I know is trying to do a diligent job. Ever since that the road minister has moved to a number of areas to try and do those, but he's completely and financially incapacitated. The road fund.
Complained to you?
Yes, he doesn't need to complain to me. I know it as a member of parliament.
What was the 2017 budget of the road?
Go and find out. It was nothing to write about.
Sorry. 2017.
I just want to explain to you.
Yes.
The road fund is one of the reliable means that the ministry uses to fund roads. So a government that has a vision to build more roads in this country would rather even encourage and even encourage more resources to go into that fund. Rather, they have capped the road fund.
Honorable, you obviously do not know the use of the road fund.
They have capped the road fund.
It is not for building roads.
I'm saying that it's for the maintenance.
Yes. So why are you saying that the government needs to build more roads with road fund money?
Even for road maintenance, the contractors that will pay is no contractors who garner enough resources to go and undertake roads even before they are paid. So even if you incapacitate them from the onset, that even for maintenance sums that the government owes them, the government cannot pay. You have crippled them. Today, as we speak, a lot of contractors have thrown their workers out and they are jobless.
Which contractors are you talking about?
Many contractors across the left and right of the country.
I like
because they've not paid them.
Specific information that's direct. Which contractor are you talking about?
You mean I should mention individual names of contractors? My brother,
because
the president...
but I can't just say many contractors.
I am saying that most...
It's very blanket.
I'm even expanding it. Most contractors...
How many contractors are in the country?
There are thousands of contractors.
You don't even know the exact figure.
The president... Look,
yet you can tell me most of them are actually sacking people.
I can't give you specific... But I'm just saying that...
How do you determine the most?
I don't have to give you specific...
But you can't say most when you don't have the
let me tell you that the president of the Contractors Association, when His Excellency the President mentioned that they have almost retired the debt owed to them by contractors, the man came out openly and said, look, This is one of the, with all due respect, one of the biggest untruths that have been peddled in recent times. And that most of their members are even dying under the weight of debt.
Okay. Oh, but the man who is actually in the team is talking about something else, and you are saying that it's not the case.
Who is talking about?
I'm talking about the president of the contractors.
No, he said, yeah, if you said they have paid the contractors and the president of the contractors association say most of their members have not been paid, who do we take?
Okay, hold on. My point to you in this particular note, I mean, of course, away from this, because you can't give me any specific figures on that one. You actually say most without having the specific in this case.
Yes, there are billions. They are in billions of Ghana cedis.
Okay, well,
yes.
Because they say they are in billions. That's nothing.
In fact, it was said by the president of the Contractors Association.
But I can't say
he said
billions when you don't have any figure to it.
Look, that the president said that they are left with just about some 600 million. And he was contradicted. I said the money owed government is still is in billions.
Is the NDC minority afraid of Martin Amidou? After the long-standing vetting, there is one of you who is already in court challenging his appointment based on his age. Are you afraid?
My brother, it's Martin Amidou God.
No, he's not.
So why should anybody fear him?
Because of perhaps what they have done.
Why? Is he God? I just asked you, is he God?
Yes, he's not.
The only person...
He can prosecute them.
I'm saying that the only person we fear is Almighty Allah.
He can prosecute them.
He is a fallible mortal. Weak, decrepit, fallible mortal.
I don't know.
He has no status of a God.
I don't know weak.
Every human being is weak. I sit here, I'm weak.
I get your point.
You can live here and fall anywhere.
But that's not the substantive point.
So I'm just telling you that
I'm saying
he is
that
not an object to be feared.
The prosecution will come in.
That well, he has been sent to prosecute the NDC members. Is that what you are saying?
No, I'm saying that.
So why would the NDC people be afraid? Unless that is what you are saying. But that he has been sent to prosecute NDC people.
Why are some of the members actually challenging?
NDC people have a duty,
yes,
as a minority, to uphold the law. So if anything is done in contravention of the law, the good people of this country, and rightly so, they have applauded the minority for standing up on numerous occasions.
Even if it's one
to
of
uphold
you.
the law.
Even if it's one of you.
So what the person who has gone to court, has he committed a crime?
No, I'm saying that even if it's one of you, as in Matam is one of you, he's a member of the NDC.
He's not a member of the NDC.
Oh, when did you actually cancel his
He said it. He said that.
He said he's remaining neutral. I didn't say he was not a member of the party.
Even in the run-up before the party summoned him to the disciplinary committee meeting,
yes,
he said he was no longer a member of the NDC. He said it. And if you listen to his vetting, look, he said that when he made the allegation that Madam Charlotte Osei had been recruited by President Mama to come and rig the elections, and that it had to take some of them to go and work with the MPP. These are his words. So listen to him yesterday. That he went and worked with the MPP and they put in systems to prevent the system election from being for the MP for Nanado to win the election. Which NDC person is going to help an MPP candidate to win the election?
I want us to end on a light note.
Yes.
You are known for your extraordinary competence in proverbs. If you can end with some of them for us.
No, I'm just. You see,
I want you to come down. I mean, we've been high all through. I want you to come down. So
brother, I've said of the MPP.
Yes.
That to accuse the MPP of lying, recklessness, and corruption is like accusing a dog of barking.
They do it all the time.
You see, the testicle that will degenerate into hernia, it will be spotted from the very first day it descends. From the very first day, we indicated that the MPP was visionless. They rode on the back of lies. And a lie is like a pregnancy. The older it grows, the more exposed it becomes. Today, the MPP, having made all these promises, Dr. Bawumia, and as the management of the economy team, now, today, they can't carry the load. So a man who cannot carry his load blames his head part. Today, they are putting this blame on all, sometimes even say it's the sabotage from the NDC. You see? So the man who is supposed to do his nightly duties,
okay,
when he fails, he lays the blame on errant mosquitoes.
Thank you so much.
You can just see clearly.
Honorable, thank you so much.
The MPP
I appreciate you coming today. Unfortunately, I don't have any time left. I don't have any time left.
But you see,
I thank you so much.
When you send your son to the hereafter, he will return. You may not recognize him.
Thank you so much, Honorable. And that's it for UPfront today. My name is Raymond Akwa.